Welcome to the show. I am Morayo Afolabi Brown. As always, I have the ladies of your view. Good morning.
Hi, good morning.
I'd like to start with Mariam today because you came in a bit late and it seemed like something stressed you out. What happened?
No, just, you wake up early to come to work and then you're stuck in traffic. It can be quite frustrating. And that's how I was feeling.
I imagine. I can imagine Nima going through this almost every single time.
So sometimes when she comes in and she's looking this way, I'm wondering, you can... Yeah. But now I get it. It's really annoying, especially when you make time out to wake up earlier than you would normally do.
Circumstances beyond your control.
Yeah. So.
Right. Yeah, how are you doing, Obiajilu?
I'm doing amazing. I'm trying to take my life easy. And so I decided to do a giveaway because I got feedback from the last coaching session I did, and that was a few months ago. And she reached out to me. She was like, she knows she's not where she's supposed to be at the moment, but the process has helped her. She's changed a whole lot, and people are asking her what happened, what caused this change. So I decided to, okay, let me just do a giveaway and give 10 free coaching sessions to 10 different persons on how they can build themselves. So it will be starting in February. I'll put up the advert on my page so that anybody who wants, just 10 persons, and we're done.
Oh, we help to talk and share.
Yeah.
How you doing, Okwe?
I'm very good. Follow up.
It's okay.
Follow up on this story yesterday. It was our hot topic yesterday has been trending all over social media, and somebody did the research and said that since Miriam Sanders' case started, we've had 53 domestic homicides. That is 53 couples killed, one person killed, spouses killed each other. There were 36 men killed their wives and 17 women killed their husbands. Oh my God. So there is indeed a crisis going on. And we cannot begin to beg people to stay in marriages that are frustrating them. We cannot beg people to pray about situations that they can avoid. So let's get more aggressive in pushing this thing of separate if it is not working, rather than kill yourselves or kill your spouse, because this is what happened in this case.
So I think it's something we would like to have a conversation with you guys. But first, I'd like to thank our audience. Somebody gave us this. Thank you very much. Please, we have to thank you for this lovely picture. I really appreciate it. God bless you.
Yeah.
But
today's our producer's mother's birthday.
Oh, really?
Bolaji. Today's mom is 60. Her name is Pastor Mrs. Olawi. And she's 60 today, so happy birthday.
God bless you.
It's a big one.
Thank you. I didn't even she mentioned it yesterday. I didn't remember. Oh, fantastic. Congratulations, Ma. Many, many more years. And you live long and live well and live prosperous in Jesus' name.
Amen.
So, any first-timers here for the first time? Let us say hello to you. Oh, please stand up for recognition. Yay! Thank you so much for coming. You may have your seat. Thank you very much. Such a pleasure to have you in our midst. Okay, we're going to go on a break now. When we come back, we'll go through the front pages of the newspapers, and we might actually touch on that Sanders story a bit more today. If we have enough time, we'll see, because I'd like to hear your views on it. But first, let's go on a break. We'll be right back. Right, we're going to start with The Nation. Insecurity, Buhari stunned as lawmakers seek action. Picture here, 15 killed as truck plunges into Ogun River. 41 die of Lassa fever in 19 states, and we have 258 confirmed cases. Woman's son jailed for $82,000 fraud. Court restrained sacked Oyo Council chiefs. Malibu, EFCC seeks Etete's extradition. Okay, so let's start with the insecurities all over the place. Let's talk about the woman who was arrested.
Yeah. So the Federal High Court in Lagos on Tuesday sentenced a mother and son to prison for 3 years for defrauding an American man for, of the amount of over $8,000. They had $82,000. Yeah, about a little over $82,000. They had pretended to be a particular company, an American manufacturing company, and were able to defraud this man. And so the court gave them 3 years because the court says that they immediately confessed to their crimes. They did not waste the time of the court, and that's why they were a bit lenient with them. But there's a third person who's still on the run, and I'm sure when that one gets caught, he might get life.
Yeah. Let's take the Lassa fever story.
Yes, so the health minister, Osage, has said that 41 persons have died from Lassa fever out of 19 states, and they've had 258 cases of Lassa fever, saying that because of our geographical location and our region, it's actually endemic to us, and we all need to put our hands on deck to ensure that we curb this. And he's also advised the health practitioners to ensure that they take precautions, use their gloves, wear their uniforms and all of that. They've also established rapid response teams in certain states like Ebonyi, Enugu, Kano, Borno, and the national emergency operation. So once you notice that something is wrong, you can always call up those and see how they can.
The audience have no idea what Lassa fever is. Like, you don't know what Lassa fever is. So you all know about Lassa fever, and you know what to do to ensure to protect your family. Good.
Let me take the Oyo story follow-up. The Oyo State government have gotten a stay of injunction. Sorry, let me get it right. An injunction restraining the sacked council officers. So we have 33 local government chairmen and 35 LCDA chairmen have been told that they shouldn't carry out any action while this case is in court, and because they don't want breach of peace. And the reason I'm taking this story again, because I know that supporters of this removed, sacked local government chairmen would want to still go there and show support to their people. Please, no breach. Don't sacrifice your life or your health because you're trying to show political support. Just let the case is in court. It's a court of appeal right
and
now.
I think Afenifere also stated that Oyo State has actually shown a lot of maturity. They've not taken advantage of this situation to let things degenerate. The governor's posture has made it clear that, listen, let the law take its course and don't aggravate the situation. Let's move on now to the Punch. Insecurity worsening. We must act now, National Assembly warns. Mother's son jailed 3 years for internet fraud. 15 die, 38 injured as truck plunges into the Ogun River. Court hears Sims suit against DSS, Buhari's daughter, February 12th. Sex of Marks, OAU panel probing lecturer submits report. FG to demolish more buildings for Lagos-Ibadan Road. Governor to monitor 5 airports to tackle coronavirus. And Nigeria to begin rice exportation in 2 years, says minister. Let's start with this Ogun River accident. What happened?
Yeah, so this particular truck, it was called a mini truck, was coming all the way from Sokoto and plunged into the Omi River in Ijebu-Ode, that Ijebu-Ode Expressway. The bus had 58 passengers, 38 were injured, 15 persons died immediately. So according to the FRC personnel said that the accident happened because the driver was actually tired, and that vehicle wasn't supposed to carry human beings. It was meant for goods because there's a way they do those vehicles meant to carry. So he advised
trucks that have the open back.
Yes,
so
with
all
wooden
of them,
seats.
Yeah, so all of them were there. And obviously when the truck fell in the water, many of them died.
Terrible.
Let's talk about which other story?
The DSS. Yes.
Yeah, DSS.
So this is really interesting to us because do we remember the story of a young man who was kept in DSS custody over his SIM card being the same as the one used by the president's daughter? Yeah. It used to be a former SIM card used by her, and he sued them. You know, he filed the case, and the court is going to be listening to his case on the 12th of February. So yes, it's interesting because, you know, at first
this man got a SIM July. He was arrested by DSS and kept in custody till September. He's suing DSS and MTN jointly for 500 million naira.
And Hanan as well, and the president's daughter as well.
Whoa. So he has a case. I mean, we were worried that...
Did he commit any fraud?
He didn't.
No, he didn't.
He actually had the receipt of his SIM, that he purchased this SIM card from MTN. So why? Because what happened was that the DSS were waiting for Hanan to finish school to come and look like this man. No, he's using your phone. Is it somebody you know? So he was detained in the custody of DSS while waiting for Hanan to come back from school. So obviously, when he was released, he was suing them.
Quickly, Mariah, before you run.
I'm happy that the case is in court and we're going to hopefully get some.
Yes, so the sex for marks that we had for the OAU University, the results for the panel is out. So they've submitted it to the Vice Chancellor. Hopefully we'll hear
good follow-up.
Yes.
Okay, Daily Sun, Imo Magic. I wonder what that is. Speaker, 7 others defect to APC to give party majority. They were lured with 50 million naira each. Promise of choice land. Oh, Jesus Christ.
Choice lands in Owerri.
Hey, outrage over insecurity. PDP threatens to boycott 2023 election. Edo Guba, don't hold rallies in our areas. APC members want Oshomole. Okay, let's talk about this outrage over security. I think that's more important.
Okay. I wanted to first start with the
Imo magic.
Imo
Okay,
magic.
go ahead. Let's do that.
So,
Let's do Imo magic.
the Speaker of the Imo State House of Assembly, Mr. Chiji Collins, and 7 members of the PDP yesterday defected to APC. The Speaker hurriedly announced the defection of the members, and the reasons will be obtained in the letter. The allegation, though, is that these defectors were given 50 million naira each and 2 plots of land in Owerri by the state government.
Wow.
That because the state government is desperate to have a majority in the State House of Assembly.
Wow.
This is major allegation, and so I'm expecting that they should back it up with substantial evidence. We don't just say
Imo magic. All right.
It's
So
not the
let's say
first time
PDP
now.
threatens to boycott 2023
Yes,
elections. What's
so
that about?
the national chairman, Uche Secondus of PDP, is saying that they will likely boycott the 2023 elections, that if the electoral reforms are not carried out, saying that the security agencies, INEC, and the federal government are coming together, working together to deny people the right to choose their leaders. And so they are not going to get into such an election if at the end of the day there will be a lot of violence and people will not have the opportunity to choose who they want to lead them. So if those reforms are not done, they will likely not contest elections in 2023.
Moving on very quickly to the Nigerian Tribune. Insecurity Senate to invite IGP. Buhari says level of banditry surprised him. Hate speech won't have death penalty, says sponsor. Ramfak, Labour warns Ramfak on proposed pay rise for political office holders. More than 75 buildings to be demolished on the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway. IPPIS, we've not received circular for salary stoppage. Fire God's power plant in Ondo. Court restrained sacked Oyo local government chairman, AGF IGP from forceful takeover. And after eviction, homeless Takwa Bay residents sleep in jetties under Lagos Bridge. Okay, let's start with this insecurity. I want us to take that story.
so.
Our president said he was taken aback.
Yes, and the Senate president, back-to-back, is making a strong statement that they are going to invite the IGP, that's the Inspector General of Police, and they want to create what he called a national security strategy. They want to immediate implementation of the recently launched national security challenge strategy, in that there have been a lot of increase in banditry, increase in activities of people I think banditry is what happened in Plateau State that Mariam went to talk about. And the cases, this insecurity and killings of people is worrisome for them. The House of Representatives spoke up and said that they've been having sleepless nights over the case of insecurity in this country, and that they are going to do more to ask.
And in addition to what the NSS is going to do, they're also going to ensure, they're going to try to push the issue of state policing, community policing very, very vigorously in the House. And they said that the next in fact, this entire year, next 6 months will be quite busy for the Senate. According to them, they're going to focus on issues of the PIB bill must be passed, according to the Senate president. He said that they're going to work on the amendment of the Electoral Act and also ensure that the issue of power efficiency, so in power supply, they're going to change the laws to ensure that we have power efficiency. I'm hoping that they can deregulate.
What I didn't get was why the president was shocked.
Okay, just to add, the governor of Plateau State, Simon Lalong, is really, understandably so, upset. He says it's not possible that people will go into a community, kill people, 15 people and counting, and then, they disappear. So these people are not spirits. So he's asking that the community leaders, the Ardos, that's the leaders of the Fulani settlements in these areas, be arrested until somebody is called out for this.
And that's the issue of the
And
community
it's been
policing.
peaceful for a while. So it's just, he was saying that they're trying to take, that's the governor of police who was saying that they're trying to take Plateau back to the days of everyday killing. And I think that we shouldn't hurt ourselves. We're human beings and we're all living in the same community.
All right, let's mention the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway. Who has that story?
So the federal government has, they are planning to build the interchange and the flyovers around that Lagos-Ibadan Expressway. So they're having meetings now with the community leaders and the religious leaders, because some of the, there's one, the interchange is going to take, there's a particular area is going to pass. The flyovers are going to pass both the Redeem Camp and what's this other church there?
MFM.
Mountain of Fire, yes. So it's going to pass there. So they are, assuring that they're going to compensate adequately. Meetings are going on, and they are appealing to residents in the area to support the construction.
And no demolition will be carried out without compensation.
Yes,
They made that very clear.
yes.
So
Without
hopefully,
Compensation is tied to you having
So they're
your
going to
CFO
demolish
and all
more
those
houses.
documentation.
So just quickly, the hate speech bill, we remember, has a death penalty, but the The senator that passed it, Deputy Chief Whip Sabi Abdullahi, has said that they're taking off the death penalty attached to this bill, but he will keep pushing for the bill to be passed.
Unfortunately, we have to run on. Let me just take the headline in Vanguard. Senate opts for community policing, summons police and IG. Federal government not fighting corruption to impress Transparent International. That's Lai Mohammed speaking there. 7 months after Fashion Roti's daughter's murder is a political assassination, says Afeni Ferry. NDDC Buhari U-turn says new board ready after probe. And an interesting article about how soft drinks makers battle for customers' pockets. Really, if you're interested in how markets, how the changes in the market, it would be nice to read that story because it just tells how the various companies are competing, what they're doing, all the innovative adverts they're putting out just to get as much market share as possible. I mean, it's pretty interesting. And I like that the Nigerian brands are really, they are giving those international brands a run for their money. Unfortunately, that's all we can take. Now, the hottest news in Lagos State right now is this ban of Okada. Everybody's talking about it. We'd like to hear your views because people are talking about it, but your view hasn't spoken about it yet. So we'd like to hear. Our audience is here. We'll talk about it. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your view will be right back. Welcome back to Your View.
Thanks for staying with us. So according to the reports that we've all been reading, the Lagos State government has rolled out a new law that prohibits commercial motorcycles, including the bike, hailing startups from operating in some specified local government areas. Yeah. Well, later on, we'll be joined by a member of the Lagos State Executive Council to discuss this. But first, I'd like to hear your views on this. You can call us on 070-8066-8014. You can also tweet to us at TVC. Can you please hashtag YourViewTVC so we can read your tweets. I'd like to start with members of the audience. I'd like to get the mic to know your thoughts. I mean, this story has been out for a couple of days now.
Monday.
Since Monday. And you've been hearing it. But ladies are the one who start first. Let me go with you before I come to the audience.
All right.
Let me come to you. Your thoughts on this.
When I read the ban, so to speak, and I read the reason behind the ban, which is basically because most of these bike men are rough. There's a lot of accidents. They mentioned about 1,500, accidents, loss of lives, and they are not careful. They make the city rowdy and all that. I understand. I take these bikes, and I know how rough they are. That's the truth. But I see this move as a reactive move rather than a proactive one. Okay. Because the truth is, if they had called these bikers, and trained them. Because what I see most times, they don't know how to trafficate, they don't know how to, they just cut corners, they don't understand anything about traffic rules. If they had trained them, found a way to put them under a serious body, not just about collecting 500 naira every day for them, just extorting them. Because those guys, when you hear their story when they carry you, most times they make nothing at the end of the day. This council here, we block them. This one, we block them. That one, we block them. These are young men who are hustling, who, so to speak, the government has failed them. So they are finding ways to make ends meet. And then you just do a ban without considering that they have invested, they have put in money. Right. Where do you want them to go?
Right. So it's a restriction. It's a restriction. It's a restriction. It's a restriction from some areas, from some local governments and LCDAs, about 15 of them. It's not a total ban. You see, the talent is that in Nigeria, actually, in Lagos, the average driver has some level of insanity. So, as a driver, I am happy that I don't have to be looking, bike, keke, scratch me, I clean my car, all of that. That is the selfish average person. That's me. However, when you take it a bit further, you dig deep into the average population, the 20 million Lagosians that we have, over 20 million, how many of them can go through the public transports we have? How many of the roads we have are motorable enough to get people to their location in time? How many of them are dependent on this means of transportation as their source of livelihood. So when you take this away like that, which I totally am in support of, because I've campaigned on this thing right from when the previous administration, Governor Ambode, the former governor of Lagos State, didn't enforce that law that Fashola put in place. I was saying over and over again that before this governor came in, we had sanity on our roads. Governor Ambode did not. Why are you allowing these motorcycles back on the highways? So when we don't have, how serious are we as a people?
I hear you, and I'll come to Mariam because I'd like to hear your thoughts. I know recently one saved you. Go ahead.
Okay, so for me, before, the few weeks that I've had to use bikes, like on more than one occasion, almost 2 occasions, and before then I would have said no to bikes completely, because I have been almost robbed by people on a bike on more than 2 occasions. You're walking on the street, you have your bag hanging, and they try to snatch it from you. Good. So, but I understand why the government is doing this, and it's good that it's not a total ban. It's just for it's just restricted to some areas. And I also liked it when Fashola made it for them not to use the express roads, because whether we like it or not, it is dangerous. I have seen. I was driving behind someone. A little girl fell off a bike that was going really fast. So so as a parent, as a mother, as a human being, when you see these things, the first thing that comes to mind is how to protect people. So safety first. But there's also the other social part where when you take these bikes from these people, where would they go? So that's why I don't understand why Okada and the other one have to be banned, because they seem to be like the better trained and more organized.
Okay, so talking about that, I mean that deserves a clap here.
Yeah.
Yes, it does.
Yes, you can clap. So, you see, I know you said something about having a conversation with these bikes first, trying to train them. But you see, I know that Lagos State has this major challenge of the daily influx of bikes coming in from different parts of the country. They're constantly stopping trailers, people bringing in 300 bikes at a go. Daily. So when you say you want to train people and you want to bring them to the table and let's have a conversation on how to ensure they obey traffic laws, how do you do that on a daily basis?
I thought the signing of this hail motorcycle hires was going to do. I thought that when you signed up these 2 big companies, you were going to be able to curtail them. But even those green ones, they are as rough as the previous ones. So why when the policies are a bit reactionary, and the policies are, for me, we didn't think through. Nima sat down here and she's really, I must represent her here today, because I know how many times bikes have literally had to save our life. Yes. There are many people, I don't go to trade fair anymore, even though my business needs me to visit that area, because you spend hours there. Now, many people have to use bikes, park their cars on the road and use bikes to get through the crazy traffic caused by mismanagement of the government, of that environment. So you now take bikes away from that area.
So you're putting the cart before the horse. Let me come to the audience. I'd like to hear you, because you're the ones using these, and I'd like to hear your thoughts on this. Go ahead, please.
I want to say that this bike banning, the reason to ban them is justified. Okay. Yeah, because how you investigate the whole matter, you see that they don't hear word. Okay. They are the madness, it runs in their blood. They are bad and they are stubborn. But if you are patronizing them, you tell them to slow down, put them in order. Yet they will do their own thing. It's a terrible thing. Okay. But I still believe.
But do you use them? Do you use the bikes?
Yeah, I use bike. Okay.
That's how you know how they are.
I think it's also an advantage because if there is traffic and you need to reach somewhere, you need to use them and maneuver.
Okay, all right. So go ahead. Let me continue.
So it's not just the bike riders and the tricycle riders that have the problem. Our bus riders are rough. Our bus riders are terrible. Now, the federal government has promised that they are going to ensure that the buses go to those areas that normally would have taken bikes to. There are some koro that a bus cannot enter. So the trekking is on us. When I go trek tire, not the joke. Wait, so
there's nothing wrong with trekking culture.
Then, another thing is the fact that there is no alternative.
Don't do all your points now. Let me because I mean, you see, it's always easy for us to make all these claims. But many of us have traveled to, even as far as Ghana or even other parts of the world. You
anything
walk.
like that there.
Sometimes there was a time I went to the UK and I had, just to get to the bus, I had to walk over almost
good on your muscles, man.
So there was no bike. I was thinking, oh my God, where are the bikes right now? I wish I had a bike to take you to the bus stop. So sometimes we're just so used.
But the culture.
We have accepted and absorbed this culture to just
Let
be
me help
pleasing.
their argument.
May I?
I'll come back to you. Let me take a comment from the audience. Go ahead.
Okay, we
Please.
just wanted to.
Personally, I want to say that I use the tricycle and bikes a lot.
Okay.
All right? And beyond that, I also trek. I walk a long while. And around where they call Mushin in Lagos, you see these bikemen and tricycles more and often. But the point is, you are disheartened when you see them acting some ways. You need them, and we need them quite all right.
We do.
But then the way we see them acting is so disturbing to the heart. Because personally, I would sometimes want to take a bike or tricycle, but then I just have everything. Like, do I really want to take this right now?
Yeah.
But then the point is, the traffic is there, and I need to get to where I'm going. So in the easiest way, I trek. So and a lot of people see me and say, I'm suffering myself, and I just feel it's fine because I'm safe, and I know I'll get to where I'm going.
Fantastic. Let me take Ikechukwu and I come to you. Ikechukwu, are you there? Thanks for calling.
Yes, I'm here. Good morning.
Morning.
Yeah, talking about this bike and tricycle ban in this our Lagos. First, we have to know that Lagos is a far state, and there are some appointments that you're supposed to get with the traffic and everything. You just lose those appointments. And yesterday I was in a tricycle, and one of them said, the driver said, some people have gone to get brand new tricycles just yesterday. And I was, these people, did they hear that they're going to ban this thing? And for me, I think the government, they are disconnected from us. Most of them, they don't take this thing that we are taking, that is making us get to where we are going.
Let's be clear. It hasn't been banned. They're saying that they restricted them from those major highways. For example, for example, now, I had to give my son his medication at 8 p.m. because it was antibiotics. Okay. So I knew 8 p.m. I must be in the house. I was in traffic at 7:45.
So what did you do?
Of course, I got the bike.
Now you won't get a bike again, no?
I was home. So within the neighborhoods, they are still allowed. They've not banned them in all the neighborhood in certain areas. So, but let's go on a break. When we come back, I'm going to bring in somebody who's from the Lagos State Executive Council to help us understand why the government took this decision. And let's see if indeed they thought this thing through properly. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back. Welcome back to Your View.
Okay, so joining us now is a member of the Lagos State Executive Council, Mr. Joe Igbokwe. Welcome to the show, sir.
Good morning, everyone.
Before I ask you any questions, I'd like you to hear your own citizens, their thoughts on this matter. I'll take a few comments from our audience before we then let you respond. So let me start with you, madam. Go ahead, please. Go ahead.
I want to say that me as a person, when I was working with 7-Up Bottling Company, I take bike, because I live in Alakija, so I take bike from Ijora down home when the hold up is so much. And I've had a very bitter experience on bike that the Aboki carried me that very day, going back home. So if he fell me down and he left the bike right on my leg. And the silencer was burning my leg. He still left it, and he was saying, why Yanla? But the bike was on my leg. But still, that does not make me to stop entering Okada. I'm still entering Okada to date. Even yesterday, I still entered Okada. So for them to ban it, I don't think it's the best, because I still need it.
Fantastic. Let me take the next person. Yes.
Yeah. My own experience is so painful too. I had it hard, but even the next week after then, I still had to buy, because Lagos State is congested. There is no how you can leave home very early and you get to where you are going on time. So they are necessary evils. You can't do without them. But I just wish the obey we pay. You understand? As we have employed them and the other yellow part of the bike, yes, I pray they will work out.
Okay.
And most especially, they need to be orientated because those aboki, they'll be watching trailer like this and dragging you towards it. They'll be telling you, madam, take am easy, madam, take am easy. I say, stop, look at trailer coming before, madam, no base, madam, no. I say, I won't come down.
They're not trained.
You know,
Okay.
there are people that you can't do without.
Right.
So, but they just need to strike to the
Point
right
taken.
and to the left so
Point
that
taken.
there'll be a balance.
Okay, let me take the gentleman in the cap first. Then I'll go up. Yes, your thoughts.
I will just make 2 brief points why I really support this. 1, bikes, tricycle, they are not, by default, they are not supposed to ply highways.
Okay.
So we should not condone that. Then secondly, you should ask yourself, do you realize that these Aboki guys are forming empires in Lagos State, almost everywhere? Because you see them, operating this Okada everywhere. I took one recently, and when I got to my destination, I asked him, I said, guy, how do you manage on this expressway? The dust, sand, everything coming. And you know what he said? Say, Kai, Oga, I dey close my eyes, open them sometimes. So I said, moku mogbe modaro. So my life has been, you understand what I'm saying? So it's so dangerous. The guy has always been closing his eyes on express road, So, the only thing I frown at is that before government could pass restriction or complete ban on them, they should make alternative.
Okay, point taken. Okay, so take the mic there, and I'd like you to, you've had 3 people speak, and I'm going to take 2 more comments up there. But some are agreeing with you. Some are saying that obviously they are necessary evils, that they still need them. They understand where you're coming from. At the same time, they're saying that this is something Lagos State is congested. What do you say to that? How do you respond to your citizens on this?
Well, as a member of the Executive Council, Lagos State, this matter has been a recurring decimal for years now. It's something that we have dealt with when Fashola was there. Nobody would have been talking about it now. But here we are again, still doing the same thing. I know how many times this matter came up at the Executive Council, and it was well debated since Sanwo-Olu came in. Studies were done. Members were sent out to the streets to monitor things and then come back to report. Because as a government, you have to study things and you have to see what other people are not seeing, and then you report back. It's not only on Okada issues. If you look around and you see that some roundabouts are going off.
Yeah.
Because we went there in the night, the afternoon, and saw that some of these roundabouts are creating traffic issues, and they have to go. Some routes we need to expand, So it is something that is useful, but is creating a big problem. A big problem that if we do not manage, we'll end up, having a worse society.
Yeah, so on the one hand, like most of us, we agree with you, which is, because of safety. I'll just use an example I learned one time when they were talking about parenting, that when you put your child in a car, the child is supposed to be in his car seat. But the child usually would cry, would prefer to be standing. And the parenting advice is your child's safety comes before your child's happiness. So for me, I'm thinking that the Lagos State is looking at it that way, that yes, it may be easier to move around, but your safety first for us than, the convenience of moving around.
You need to leave.
But we need to also understand, we need to talk about this. The traffic situation in Lagos is what has created this menace. It has created a void. I mean, there's a void that they are filling. Yeah. And we need to understand what Lagos State is doing. I left home, I got to work barely a few minutes before this show started, and I woke up at 5:30 this morning. It's not fair. Why are we still going through this issue of traffic every day? And sometimes you go past that area and you don't see what really caused it.
Management issue.
I think you're banning Okada.
Okay. I want to remind you that in Abuja, Delta, Kano, Owerri, Imo State, you can't find them on those cities, And this is Lagos, where once you ban, everybody's coming to Lagos. It's not only Aboki, Southeast, South, everybody, they are coming, even people that are not Nigerians are coming. Because one is that you make more money in Lagos. The attraction is that you make more money in Lagos. I remember when they were chased out of Lagos a few years back by federal government. Some of them went to a good state. They are now making up to 700 naira. They were reporting, Lagos, we make 10,000. We make 12,000, we make 15,000. So it's a business for them. But let us look at the other angle. It is possible for you to go and rob a bank in Lekki and use Okada and get away. I'm not talking about people that have died, you know. This is not, you see, I have seen boys. I worked in Papa for 4 years. I've seen boys that are supposed to be in school, primary school, secondary school, on Okada. They don't have homes. They sleep on top of it. 5 o'clock, they are up. I mean, if we have to build a clean city, price must be paid. Prices must be paid. This is just one of it. If we have to have a clean city, a livable city, some prices must be paid.
Okay, let me pause for a second. I have a call. Yakub, are you there?
Yeah, Morayo, I'm there.
Go ahead, please.
Yeah, good morning to you all, and good morning to your guests. Morayo, yes, Lagos State banned they wanted to ban the Okada and the tricycle. I'm of opinion that they shouldn't ban it for now. Why? Because we still have traffic jams. Your guys, Mr. Igbokwe mentioned Apapa. People that is working at Apapa today, I can tell you, they cannot be able to access their working place in time. I'm sure if Sister Nima is there this morning, it will not agree with Mr. Igbokwe, because the access that Sister Nima stay, if you don't use Okada sometime, you may not likely get to that studio in time. And then Morayo, you give us a typical example. It's not quite long. You say you wanted to take a drug, and then you find yourself in a traffic, and then you just have just less than 15 minutes to get to your house. And then what did you do? You use Okada. Another thing is this: those roads that they mentioned that the Okada should not apply. Morayo, I can tell you for free. The police, they will take the advantage. Even the road they were not even mentioned that is Okada banned. They will go in that place and begin to catch all these people. Mr. Igbokwe, you are in among of this committee. I want to put a question to you, sir. The question is this: the OPay people, I want to know, are they not registered with Lagos State government? Now that you banned Okada abstractly, is it affecting them? Because this is a business. This is people that give employment to the graduates. People that are graduates, they don't have jobs. That's because they're going to that
Thank you. I'd like you to respond to the OPay and the companies that we thought have actually registered and trained their
Okay, let me start with a fact. Obvious and painful truth that hard decisions need to be taken in dealing with some issues. You know, government said 9 LCDs, 6 local governments. We have 20 local governments and 57 LCDs. So it's not everywhere. We just want to take them out to save their lives. And then make people to think of an alternative. There's so many things for somebody to do than this Okada business.
Have you provided an alternative?
See, if you want to have a good furniture now, you need to get somebody from Ghana. If you want to do POP, you need to go to Togo. If you bring, these are people that have taken over some of these things. Our people are not seeing it.
Okay, so the alternatives, I totally, and I've had this discussion.
I want him to land that point, so help me.
What he's trying to say is that these boys riding the bikes can take other jobs. The alternatives are available for them to embrace skills in tailoring, in doing POP and all of that. That's available for them. And I strongly believe that. I know someone that used to be a mechanic that stopped doing his apprentice mechanic to get a bike, and that is now a way of making money. So they leave skills and just run after the money. I get that. However, there are 2 things I want to address. Yakub went to one of them by saying that we have sort of empowered policemen to take advantage of our security officials. Let me not just say policemen so that you don't. Yeah, security officials take advantage of this situation because people will now stand on the road and they'll say, this is Apapa, you have crossed Apapa, you are now going to settle or you don't go. What are you doing? Asa, you cannot shake your head and say that it won't happen. You know it will happen. How do we now ensure that these young business owners, that's their business, don't get abused by the law that has not been made? One. Number 2, There are some areas in your list that I can't fathom why the government would put a restriction on bikes in those areas. It just doesn't make sense. Why would you put a restriction on Okadas in Apapa and in Amuodofimautu environment? It's mind-boggling. Like, I can't imagine it. Have you been there recently?
I worked in Apapa for 4 years.
No, okay, this year.
Have you been there recently?
Recently, last year.
Even now, I think that place is better than what it used to be when I was there. Sometimes you can know I've been there. So 4 years, Wharf Landing Field Authority. I was there. So I was going, sometimes I go through the army barracks to enter my office in GRA.
Exactly.
So we saw it. But that is not an excuse not to take decisions that will affect. Government sees what you cannot
fix
see.
the road first.
They're fixing the road now.
No, they are.
So
if the roads were fixed, nobody would complain.
Why you are saying this is because when Fashola left, another government came and relaxed the law. You see, we would have been out of this. We wouldn't have been talking about this.
What is your government doing to ensure those roads are fixed? In plain English.
They are being fixed. Can't you see Apapa Maitu Oshodi Expressway? Can't you see what is going on there? Work is going on everywhere.
Producer, I'd like you to call Nima right away. I'd like to speak to Nima right away. Because she's very familiar with that area. Please, can you call her right away? Let's her tell us exactly what she's going through. Yes,
so it's really very unfortunate that in Nigeria, we are one law away from poverty. Yes, because you have worked. Let's take, for instance, this O-Pay, O-Ride. They have invested. They have bought the bikes. They have gotten the manpower. They have put in money for them to get returns. And this restriction or ban is happening at the moment. Is there a way you people have planned a cushioning effect for people, business people who have put in money in such ventures before this ban? Is there any way you can give them a soft landing? Because the truth is, we're complaining there's crime. When they take these bikes and they don't have anything to do, the crime will increase. Definitely. It will increase.
The government took all these things into consideration. And the O-Pay you're talking about is not even different than the ordinary Okada you see. It's the same thing. We have it, they have. There are issues that we have with them. You see, we didn't just wake up one morning and begin to say.
Are these safety issues that you
have? To study the situation. That's what government does. You see,
that's what government should do.
I was talking about hard decisions. Let me take Dubai, for example, today. It's one of the 7 Emirates in UAE. But we only hear about Dubai today. Hard decisions. You can't see a beggar on the street of Dubai. We're trying to build a city.
Mr. Igbokwe, let me pause you for a second. Let me give you an example. Let's imagine this. In the next few months, all our rail lines are working.
Yes.
In the next few months, all the roads are widened. In the next few months, the bridges have been built. And then you have more buses. Yes. All the buses that you guys have kept in the port.
They're coming in.
Wait, hang in there. So imagine a Lagos like that. And you now ban Okada. We will understand. The roads are not being built.
We still have government officials using sirens in Lagos. We had a time when we had no sirens by any VIP allowed, and it was a law. So when we have government officials disobeying laws and now saying they care so much about us and they are restricting us from basic life.
I'll let you talk.
People are dying. People are dying
in hospitals too.
And we're not thinking about it.
Dying in the hospital. We're dying in the hospital for a second. Because I want you to hear Nima. Nima, are you there?
I'm here. Good morning.
Good morning, dear. So, Mr. Igbokwe is telling us that Apapa is better than it was before. That the fact that it was banned, they are still, the fact that they've restricted Okadas in that area is good to help save lives. They are seeing what we cannot, they can see what we don't see. Please tell us what's going on in that area.
What can you see, Nima?
What can you see?
Oga, good morning, sir.
Yes.
Because of what you have said this morning, I will be visiting Apapa district, trust me. But I can guarantee you that Lagos-Badagry Expressway is still under construction. The situation at Yanoba is not going to change tomorrow morning. As of yesterday that I know, it's not changing overnight. But you people have just restricted Okada transportation in that area. Well done for thinking about our health, but could you also do the roads? Because if the roads were good, with what we can see, we would verify. As we speak, we have an arrangement with the Lagos State government in Satellite Town, Marwa Road. and the road is still like that. Presently, I can send you pictures this morning because I just a drive down now. Go and bring pictures for you. The roads are not good. And when you say you restrict Okada riders in a trade fair link bridge, Kesak link bridge, Badagry Expressway, these are areas where your commercial activities are still depleting roads. As we speak, presently, Iyanoba right now is under construction. There are no roads for cars to even, there are no motorable roads for cars, and you are restricting Okadas. What do you want people to do? To trek from Iyanoba all the way to Barracks?
Thank you very much, Nima. We have very little time, so I would like you to respond to that.
When you go to an operation theater in a hospital for appendicitis, they will cut your stomach. They will cut it. There will be pains. There will be pains. But you will come out of the hospital and you'll be better. Lagos now is a huge construction sites, you know, if you like. Work is going on almost everywhere.
Obviously, you can see
almost, you can feel it, you can see it. It's going to be better. And we're saying that, yes, Okada is solving some problems. I left my house this morning. There's some problems, but it is not the way to go. We want to take our children's attention to some areas where other people coming from other countries are taking advantage of, and our people are just is it a business?
Okay, wait. Let me. I need you to hear two more people of our audience, and then I'll come to take some tweets. I'll go on a break, but let me hear your views first. Go ahead, please. Very quickly,
I want to say that it would have been better if the government will engage the Okada riders to another business. Because disengaging them, you know, many of them join this trade because of unemployment.
Yes.
Many. And if you disengage them now, it will lead to crime.
Yes, so.
Increase in crime.
Yes, ma'am.
Because if you go to other states that did it before now, you would see the kind of thing they pass through. How to stop the increase in crime, armed robberies,
yes,
every nook and corner of the states. Because of that, they should call them together,
all right,
build industries where they can engage themselves before they stop.
Let me get you tweets.
Yes, so Ajayi Samuel says, I think most of our leaders should be considerate in their discharge of power. The first move should have been deal with traffic congestion on those highways, ban and make alternatives or restrict as the case may be. So you should have put things in place first before you now make this outright ban or
restriction. I have to go on a break. I'm going to let you speak. But I have to go on a break. We're supposed to have a second segment on sewage management. I'm sure we might have to move that because this matter is pretty important, and I know Nigerians really want to hear your responses because it was important for me to let our audience speak so you know what the people are thinking, and then you can reply appropriately. Let's go on a break. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back. Welcome back to Your View.
Thanks for staying with us. So, in this segment, actually, we're going to have a conversation on solid management. Now, solid management is a major environmental challenge in most Nigerian cities, especially Lagos. According to reports, over 2.4 billion people could be at risk of potentially fatal diseases if the waste problem continues to be ignored. Join us on the show to discuss this is we have an expert, actually. He's an expert in Nigeria and infrastructure of development, Mr. Oyeleke Ajibwe. Welcome to the show, sir.
Thank you.
And because we have Mr. Igbokwe, who is also the special advisor to the governor on sewage and drainage management. So everything, we will hear your views on it. But before we even start to talk about drainage, I would like you to respond to the issue of Okada riders and what the government has in store, because they've started about palliatives. What are you doing to ensure that these people who you've restricted, who are going to lose money, what is the next step for them? What's the government doing to support that?
Okay, there is this Lagos State Employment Trust Fund.
Okay.
Huge. I think governor deposited billions there for people. They train you, they give you money. That's number one. Number two is the Lagos Ministry of Women Affairs and the poverty alleviation, you know, is there also. They are training people and they are giving them cash. And you have also Office of the Civic Engagement. You have a special advisor there. So they move out and empower people. It's just that people want what they want instant cash.
Do you access all of this? Do you just go there? Yeah.
No, I've just said it now. Just go to the ministries. Go to the ministries, you meet people there
They will
that will tell you what to do. Yes, they screen you, and then it's not just when you come, they screen you. They want to know whether you want to undergo the training, and they do the needful.
Okay,
so these things are in place. Okay. There are other options, so many things.
Right. So that's the good news for Lagosians who might have lost their job due to this restriction, and they're saying that they have this trust fund which can actually access funds.
And those that cannot go can move to other areas. I just said 6 LGAs, 9 LCDAs. So you still have, you remove 9 from 37 LCDAs, you still have 28.
Yes.
If you remove 6 local governments from 20, you still have 14.
What about accommodation for them? Unfortunately, we have to move on.
Do they have some of them sleep on top of their motorcycles? Yes. I'm talking about accommodation.
Now, let's talk about waste management in Lagos State, especially, I know you're an expert in this area, and I'd like you to talk, because one of the things also that Nima is always complaining concerning that area, that Amuwodofi, is that the solid waste there, the wastage, it's not properly managed. It's almost as if government has forgotten that entire neighborhood when it comes to sewage and drainage system. In your own view, how do we begin to see how to fix this problem of sewage problem?
Okay, sewage disposal is a very huge problem in Nigeria, especially a coastal city like Lagos. And Lagos State is actually not shying away from it, but from the perspective of those that will lose their jobs now, there have to be a private partnership process that will be introduced into this so that there can be creation of jobs. Now, when you look at sewage disposal, I'll start from the very easy one that we can understand. So most of us, you have maybe septic in your house, a sockaway. Yeah. If your sockaway is not more than at least 50 meters from where your source of water is, you're actually taking fecal oral infection. Some of the waste you're actually passing through your toilet is what you are taking in back as water. So if you have a house, a plot of land, you put your sockaway behind, you put your borehole in front, your neighbor puts their own sockaway behind, all right, or their own borehole behind, their sockaway in front, because you don't know what your neighbor has done, so you've interchanged. Your sockaway is almost close to their borehole, and then the house behind you also, there's a sockaway, there's a borehole. So all those water goes down, and you do a well or a borehole, and you take that water in. Oh, some of us say we don't drink the water, but you wash your hand with that water before you take the eba, the pounded yam. So again, all of these add to all the infections you have, diarrhea, hepatitis, cholera. So all of this is a breakdown of a cycle. Now go to the other second point. Now when these tankers come to your house and they evacuate waste, where do they take them to? Go to Ido today, go to Ijora, they just dump them there. Now there are a lot of studies that are going on now. One of the ones that we're actually part of is the one that is being done at the University of Lagos, Faculty of Science. They are trying to understand even the correlation from all this sewage that is being dumped in Ido waters to the fish that you buy in Makoko, Ijora Olokpa.
It's fertilizer.
And you take those fish and you buy them and you eat them. So take, for instance, you have someone that is suffering from tuberculosis, and drugs from tuberculosis can be very concentrated. So, and then it goes into the fish. The fish also takes that drug, part of it, the chemical composition, and you eat that fish. It's a cycle. And that person naturally now has a TB. Because these things don't die easily. So again, also, you dispose all this water into this.
Okay, Mr. Adeleke, thank you.
The right person. The right person.
You have not given us.
No, I'm going to give you the answer. I'm just making you understand.
Because you have painted this gloomy picture now.
I'm just making you understand the implication.
You can't cheat.
Now, in Lagos State has tried to create a pre-treatment system.
Okay.
Lagos State Waste Management is. There's a pre-treatment system, but it's not solving the problem. But again, I'm happy the special advisor is here.
Thank you.
Government cannot do this alone. Create an avenue for private practice firms to come and participate. So there's a study that 60% in Nigeria, 60% of our population use latrine. Just about 35% use water closets.
Really?
60%. You are saying really because you're in Lagos. So go.
Leave Lagos.
Leave Lagos. So, and a lot of people do open defecation. So if Lagos State has a pre-treatment system, if we are going to open it up to businesses, let us have public toilets in parking bus stops. Let people pay for it. give it to somebody, build it. Okay, you have it also in marketplaces.
Yes, they do.
But not well maintained though. I wouldn't use it.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. Okay, let me come to let's talk to you because since a guy Mr. Igbokwe is cuckoo here. Special advisor on sewage management and drainage issues.
Drainage and water resources.
All of them join. What is your government doing to ensure that we're not eating toxic fish?
We're not eating poo.
We're not eating poo in our food. And we're not drinking poo in our food. Please. Abi? What for me now?
Let me tell you, in Singapore, what they use...
We have gone far.
What they use as their table water, this bottled water you see, is from toilets. That's what they gather. And they will put it on the table and say, go and find any water anywhere in the world that's better than this.
Yeah, we know that.
And nobody has ever challenged, no country has ever challenged them.
Because the water has gone through a treatment
that's what I'm
process.
saying. That's what I mean. That's what you can get something even out of nothing. That's what I'm just saying. So in Lagos we're doing a lot. There's LASWAMO, Lagos Wastewater Management,
Okay, what are they doing?
The department under us, to create weirs, their job is to create, a kind of reservoir where you take all these things and then you rework it, just the way they do it in Singapore. Before you discharge it into the sea.
In Nigeria.
I'm coming.
Okay,
I'm coming. So a lot is going on.
You are advising on, because when we ask you questions generally, you would have a little idea of it, but within your own influence, your own knowledge, where you have the advice, you're advising the special advisor.
Yeah.
What exactly is your area doing to better serve Lagosians? Because we don't have water. And that's why there are boreholes everywhere.
Yes.
And those that even have water, it's not working. So
let me tell you, even though Water Corporation is still having issues, because we have Adion Water Works, which is the biggest water work you can see anywhere in Africa. Adion Water Works, that was abandoned the last 4 years. That's what issues that we are facing. The first thing Governor did when we came in is to visit Adion. You need to see the Enugu State. You need to see the massive complex. And all the equipment let me land. So a lot is being done, but it's not something.
So we will see. I have to go on a break. A lot is being done. I have to go on a break. I'm sorry.
I have 2 boreholes.
I have to go on a break. When I come back, we'll let Mr. Deleke say a few things because they are saying a lot is being done.
A lot is being done. We're not just saying it.
Lagosians
are my problem.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back. Welcome back to Your View.
Let me let our technocrat in the building respond to what Mr. Igbokwe has said.
Okay, yes. Adion is a very massive water project that Lagos State started. It's not running now. But there's another model that they started one time, which I actually hope they will go by that. Coming up with small modular water treatment systems. We have, besides St. Saviour on Body Lawn, Dolphin, let's water serve a community. Don't do long distance piping from Adion to Ikoyi to Lekki to give them water. It's more costly, it's not effective. Technology doesn't do that again. So the cost of building the whole Adion now, break it down into smaller pieces. Give people in Surulere water, give people in Pori water, micro water systems units. Then they can actually progress. Some other states have started doing that. Edo State, Osun State, they're coming up doing those things. But Lagos State has been in the forefront. Edo State have done a lot of artisan wells now. They are doing a PPP. They're educating people on how to pay, because you have to pay for these services. 60 kobo, 50 kobo per liter. It's actually cheaper than even going to fetch water across the streets. But you have the water in your compound. So we also need to partner with the government. When they lay the pipes, don't steal the pipes. When they do all these things. So everybody has a role to play. But the government will also need to engage the private sector. If people say we want to do a modular water treatment for Ikosi area, okay, do it. This is the model. Let them spend their money. Let them collect them, just the way power is. Privatize it. Let water be available.
Good up here. I think it's something we can look at and we can bring you back again. Mr. Igbokwe, thank you for coming. We appreciate you. So what I understand from what you've said about the Okada, yes, some may have lost their jobs. It's not all the various local governments, not all the LCDs. It's just some. If you feel you've lost your job, go to the Lagos State Employment Trust Fund. You can get some loans to start a new business because there are things like tiling that Togo people are doing. There are things like what's POP that they are doing. There are other skills you can learn to do other business. Let's not assume it's only about riding bikes. That's the only way to make a living. On that note, thank you very much, sir, again, for Mr. Leke for coming. Have a fab. Thank you to our amazing audience. We would like to thank Yemi Legend for the small chops, as usual, TBA Services for the biggie drinks they give to us every last Wednesday, and cake slices, cream slices for our lovely cake. Thank you so much. Have a fabulous day. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.